surface area of a cube or rectangular prism. Find the surface area of this rectangular prism. Be sure to include the correct unit in your answer. All right, so we're given this rectangular prism. Again, that's just named because the base or the bottom and the top are rectangles. So we call it a rectangular prism. Surface area means the amount of area on the outside. So if you were to touch, like say a box, all the surfaces that you could hold onto on the outside are the surface area. So we don't want to find the volume. That's the amount of things like you can fit inside, the amount of space it takes up. But we want to find the flat on the outside, just the area of the box that you can literally touch, if that makes sense. Okay. So what we need to do is acknowledge that a rectangular prism has 6 sides. So it has a front and a back, it has a top and a bottom, and it has a left and a right side. So it has 6 sides. And each one of those sides are matching. So the front is the same as the back. So we can calculate the area of the front and then just multiply by 2 because we have 2 of them. We can calculate the area of the top and then multiply by 2 because we have a top and a bottom. So the top and the bottom will be the same. And then we can do the same thing for the right and the left. We can calculate one of them as far as area and then multiply by 2, which is what they're doing right here. So they've calculated each one, and then down here they're multiplying by 2. And that's why they're multiplying by 2. We have 2 of each, a front and a back, a top and a bottom, a right and a left. And then they just add those 3 amounts together after they multiply each one by 2. And that gives the total surface area. So one thing we do need to remember is to find the area of a rectangle or a square, if that's what we're doing, because some of these do end up being squares when we get to the next screens, that we do just length times width. And they'll give us everything we need to do length times width. So if we look at the original figure here, we have 5 on the side and 6 on the bottom. Well, that can be a length and a width for the front side. And then if we look at the 4 over here, and we say, well, I only have 4. I don't have anything else. Well, this 5 transfers around. That's the height of every one of these lines that are going up through the prism. All of those are 5s. So I do have 4, and then this back side here would be 5. So I can calculate the side with that. And then the top, well, I'm not given anything on the top. Not specifically, but again, this 4 that's on the side here would be the same length as the 4 that's on the top of that side, because that's how rectangles work. The opposite sides are the same. So we have 4, and then same thing with 6. If the front bottom is 6, then the front top is 6, the top edge. So we have 6 by 4. So we just have to transfer the amounts around the rectangular prism in order to get all of them. All right, so let's go ahead and practice this on the next page. Okay. So in this case, it says, find the surface area of this cube. So we have 4, 4, and 4. So let's go ahead. I need to turn my pen on here. Whoop. Okay. So let's do the front and back. So remember, front and back will be exactly the same. So we're going to do front, which I'm going to do here in red. Front, and then I'm not going to do back because that would kind of go over the top of this. But the back would be this other back side here, okay? So we have 4, because we have length and we have width. Remember, we're always going length times width. That's how we find the area of a rectangle or square. So we have 4 times 4, which gets me 16. Remember, I have a front and a back, so I'm going to multiply by 2. So that gets me 32. And that's, we'll go ahead and put meters squared on here, just so that we get our units, because this was 4 meters times 4 meters. Meters times meters means meters squared. That's how we note that there were 2 meters in our calculation. All right, now let's do the left and the right. You know what? I'm going to switch my color up here just so that back down just a little bit. And let's do this one blue. So we're gonna do, whoop, help if I click the pen again. We're going to do this one blue, okay? So this is left and right. It doesn't matter which one you calculate first. You can do the left, you can do the right. It's totally up to you. They're going to be the same. So in this case, I'm only given 4 on the bottom here. But remember, this height of the prism, this 4 here, transfers to every other height. So I know this one is also 4. So I have a length and a width of 4 again. And remember, it's 4 meters and 4 meters. So I end up with 16, which we multiply by 2 again, which we get 32 meters squared. All right, now let's go with, let's do purple. So now we're going to do the top and the bottom. And remember, multiplying by 2, this multiply by 2, this is making sure that we get both front and back, left and right, top and bottom. That's why we multiply by 2 each time, because we need to take into account that there are 2 sides with that measurement. All right, so top and bottom. So remember, this 4 on the front here is the same as the 4 on the top right here, because those side lengths are the same. So we have 4, sorry, I'm trying to squeeze the 4 in there, and then we have this 4 here that's on the side of the bottom side of the right. So this length here, which would transfer up to this side right here. I'm going to go ahead and transfer to the other side just so I have more room to write it. So I'm going to transfer over here. So it transfers all around the box. All of those sides going on the sides of the box, the left and the right side, will be 4. And in this case, we have a whole ton of 4s. So this one doesn't show you as much how they transfer because everything seems to be 4s because it's a cube. So in this case, we have 4 times 4 again for length and width, because we just wrote 4 and 4. So when you have a cube, you have a whole lot of the same calculation, right? When we have a rectangle, it's a little different. It's not all the same calculation. But when you have a cube, you do have a lot of the same calculation. So if we can remember that if we end up with a cube again, all we have to do is calculate it one time, because we ended up with 32 3 times. So I can calculate it once and then just multiply by 3. That's the exact same thing as calculating it 3 times and then adding them together, because they're all exactly the same 4 by 4 square on all 6 sides. All right, so let's go ahead and add these together. We get 2, 4, 6, and then let's see, we get 9, 10, 11, 12. So we get 126 meters squared. And 126 meters squared, and check. Uh-oh, I did a calculation wrong here. Where did I do a wrong calculation? Surface area, so we have 4 by 4. 4 by 4, 4 by 4. Did I add in correctly? Let's see. That could very well be it. 32 times 3. Oh, dang it. For some reason, I added an extra 3 in there in my head. This is only 96. That was silly. Jeez. Well, the first one is always kind of the nicest one to get wrong, because you haven't lost any points. And you can go back really quick and go, oh, what did I do wrong? Let's fix it before I have points to lose, so I understand what I'm doing. So in this case, I just simply added an extra 3 in my head for whatever reason when I did that. I'm not sure why, but it happens. You just do it too quickly and go, oh, yep, I have an extra 3. So in this case, it should be 96, not 126. There we go. We get our points. All right, let's clear and next. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with purple in this one. So we're going to go left. I'll do left and right first. It doesn't really matter which ones you do first, which ones you do second, which ones you do third. We just have to do all 6 sides. So we're going to do left and right first. So that is doop, 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 doop. So here's the right side that I'm talking about. So we have a 5 here, but I don't have anything else written, right? But remember, the height of the prism, this 6, is the same all the way around. So this would be a 6. And I'm going to write it out here so it's not in my way. This is also a 6 meters. So I do have a length and a width. Again, remember, we're trying to do length times width. So we have 5 times 6, and that gets me 30. And then remember, I have to multiply by 2, and this is our both sides, because we have 2 sides, a right and a left. 30 is only the one side. I also need the left side, so I have to multiply by 2 in order to get there, and that's going to equal 60 meters squared. All right, let's go ahead and change this up to blue, and we'll do the top and the bottom. So we have, here's the top in blue here. So we don't have any measurements written out on any of these sides. But remember, if I know one of them, it's going to transfer. So that the front bottom is 8. So that means the front top is also 8. And I can even keep going and transfer that all the way back here to the back of the top. This is 8. And I have more room back here, so I'm going to go ahead and write it back there. And then I need this other side here. So I need to keep going to this other side until I find a measurement. Oh, there we go. I have a 5. So the bottom of the right side is 5, which means the top of the right side is 5, which also means the top left is 5. So I can transfer those amounts around as long as I'm staying on the same line. I can't go from the side on the bottom side on the right to the bottom side on the front. Those are different lengths. But around the box will be the same width of the box. Or depth, I guess you could think of that as depth because that's how deep the box is. And then the 8 would be more kind of like a width if we're thinking of it, how wide the box is. So it's going to be the same width all the way around the box. So we can transfer that around. All right, so we have 5 times 8 for this one, which gives us 40. And then we want to multiply by 2. So remember, 2 is how we were just looking at the top, but we have a top and a bottom, so that's why we're multiplying by 2. And that's going to equal 80 meters squared. All right, let's do one more of these. Let's go with pink here. So we're going to do the front and the back. Okay. So here's the front side. And this one I do have both of my measurements. I have a 6 and I have an 8. So I know it's going to be 6 times 8, which gets me 48. And remember, I have to multiply by 2. And multiplying by 2 is literally because I'm front is 48. 6 times 8 is just the front. I also have a back that is also 6 by 8. So just remember, you always have to multiply by 2 on this one to make sure that you get the correct measurement for both. All right, so 48 times 2 is 96 meters squared. All right, so now we're going to add these 3 things together. And we get 6, and we get, let's see, this would be 15 plus 8 more is 23. 23 meters squared. And you can always check that because that was my mistake on the last one. I just was adding too quickly in my head. So, and believe me, it happens. So you can always take a calculator real quick and check your work. And I do, in fact, get 236 when I check my work there. So as long as everything else went correct with our calculations, this should be our answer. Now, if I click check right now, it's going to tell me, oh, you forgot to put the units on. It will warn me one time for that. Then it will start to mark me wrong. So make sure you click on meters squared, or it's not the correct answer. They want to know, is it 236 kittens? Is it 236 trees? Nope, it's 236 meters squared. It's a measurement on this one. So I'm taking measurement of an area. So just, they want you to be specific. It gives it context on what it means. All right, let's go ahead and do one more of these. So we're going to do, oh, we get a cube again. So this is actually just like what we did on that front one. So remember, cube, all the measurements are 7 by 7 on this one. So we don't really have to do them all separately. I can do one face. So let's go ahead and do the front face here. Let's go front like this. So I'm just doing the front face for right this minute. So it's 7 by 7, which gets me 49 feet squared. So I know this is 49 feet squared. And remember, just like we did on that very first one, if we have a cube, all of them are 7 by 7. All 6 sides are the same measurement. That's what a cube means, that all the measurements will be exactly the same. So I can just take this 49 feet squared and multiply by 6. I'm not going to multiply by 3. We talked about 3 on that first page, but that's after I've done front and back. So if you did front and back and you multiplied 49 by 2, so you have the front and the back, then you only multiply by 3 because you've already done 2 of them. But if you do it one time like this, this is one face, and all 6 faces are the same. So I need to multiply. What's 49 times 6? So we get 49 times 6. I'm going to write it off to the side here because they don't give us a calculator. You're welcome to have one off to the side here, but I'll just do it on here. So I get 54, and then I get 24 plus 5 more, and I get 29. So I get 294, and these are feet, so it's still going to be feet squared. All right. So this one, when they give us a cube, it all of a sudden becomes a little simpler. Not necessarily very simple, but we only have to do one calculation for one face and then just multiply by 6. If they don't give you a cube, you have to multiply front and back, right and left, top and bottom, and then add those three amounts together. All right, let's go ahead and check. And we did it. Yay!